What's up? What's up? It's your boy G Money out here, man. No, my co-host ain't got no Ben Simmons injuries or nothing. I'm just the one y'all stuck with this week. Drop that beat.
Drawing the keys on this shit now.
Round of applause. Thank y'all very much. Man, G Money back here. I'm telling y'all, we got our regular guys. We got Jay in the building.
What up?
We got Willie here with us.
Cool. What it do, fellas?
And we got our first special guest. We got my man Maliik right here. Introduce yourself,
welcome,
Maliik.
bro. Welcome.
I appreciate y'all having me on. Thank you, fellas. Appreciate y'all.
Thanks for coming out with us.
Kicking it with us.
And hey, let me not forget again before I get fired for real.
I was about to.
The Man Cave Sports Podcast, if you don't know by now.
Yes, sir.
Man Cave, baby.
There you go. That's what's up, man.
So, how was y'all's week this week, fellas? Talk to me.
Man, it's been crazy, man. You know, since the draft, you know, my team has been in the news pretty often this week, so it's been interesting hearing about that. But other than that, man, it's business as usual.
Hey, I gotta say, Jay, I like that background you got there, man. You looking fresh with the cut. You got tight in the back. I see you.
You know what I'm saying? I had it back there last week. I almost threw this all this shit out the window after that trade last week. But you know, had it, you know, first guest on. You know, although we matching right now, we twinning and shit. But you know. Hey, this wasn't by, you know, we didn't plan this. It's just real ones think alike.
They hit each other up or the group chat and said they
You know what I'm saying? It's a gloomy gray hoodie Nike kind of day. You know what I'm saying?
It's a special kind of hoodie. I don't know exactly. I ain't promoting Nike and shit, but my son, he be telling me, he like, yeah, it's zipping up both ways, right? And you can kind of like let that joint do whatever it want to do and shit. You can let it halfway zip it from the bottom, from the top, leave it in the middle. You know,
what
Oh, how's your week, Willie?
I mean, I heard it from the youngins, you know.
Willie got on the old red like he's Sue Wooing over there, man. You know, gotta check his background over there, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Maliik, how was your week though?
It was a pretty good week. In terms of talking about the draft, I definitely thought it was a good week. It went kind of like I expected in terms of the players drafted, but I think as we close out this week, I think we've exceeded a lot of people's expectations about the opportunities that a lot of these guys have gotten undrafted or to be undrafted free agents that got signed or to get invited to rookie camp. So I think it's definitely been a good week.
That's what's up. And for y'all that don't know, Maliik, he covers the HBCU colleges, all the athletes that come out, and he's all about that. Check him out on Twitter at NFL Maliik IIK at the end there. So if you don't know, check him out. And we're gonna get on that draft. We're gonna get on that draft definitely right now. So let's talk about drafts. Give me y'all's top teams drafting, some draft grades if you want to say. Who was your favorite team that drafted so far and what they did for the draft? Who want to talk to me here?
Man, so you know when it comes to draft grades, right? That's like the NFL mocks like drunk cousin. You know what I'm saying? Like we really don't know what these guys are gonna be until like the next 2, 3, 4 years. So you know, it's like we all take a shot in the dark with it. But I'm gonna give you my teams that won on the draft. I'm gonna go with Buffalo. I think Buffalo did pretty good drafting. I think the Eagles, the Jets, and who else? The Lions and the Texans. I think those teams were my winners. The Eagles, we all know, you know, they got my boy AJ in the trade, but they also got some other pieces. They got the They got some defensive pieces from Georgia. The Jets, I think, were the ultimate winners. They had 3 first-rounders. Johnson and Garrett Wilson and Jermaine Johnson. And they got Breece Hall, which I think he's going to be a pretty good fit with those guys.
That was definitely a nice steal there he got.
Yeah, so I think they ultimately won the draft.
Okay. What about you, Willie? I know Jay kind of covered a lot of teams there, but
yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Pick up the slack where my weak spots is and shit. But I had the Eagles in there. I know I most definitely had the Eagles in there, but we was watching it last week and shit. Eagles made big moves, especially in the NFC East. You know, where my squad, where a couple of our squads play at. They made some big moves. They got some nice players, stepped up their defense. They got some defense over there. Like I said, they got your man. I'm gonna go back and call him Arthur. They got Arthur over there too. So they step it up. You know what I'm saying?
Arthur Juwan, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, besides that, you know, I don't know, but where my man, what's his name? What's Jameson? Where Jameson end up at, fellas? Jameson was Detroit.
Yeah.
I had them as one of the winners also for the draft.
Okay.
He definitely came through Detroit. And speaking of Detroit, GM Brad Holmes, he made a comment. He said, "I'm making my HBCU guy this year." He said his wife get on him every year about not picking a guy like that. So I know that's a nice segue right there, Maliik. I want you to tell us.
Well, for y'all that don't know, Brad Holmes actually used to play defensive tackle for North Carolina A&T. He probably had to say that, but when he was a GM for the Lions, he didn't draft too many HBCU players. I wouldn't, like single him out because they definitely brought in a lot of undrafted players. But last year, they just brought in Norfolk State's safety, Bobby Price, and hell of a defensive back, and he's actually started for the Lions this year. So it's definitely been a lot of Lions that they've had littered throughout. Antonio Hammond. There was a couple guys that spent some time there, but Brad Holmes, for him to be an NFL GM from an HBCU and to be as proud as he is of it. And then they, for them to bring in some extra guys, get them some chances. They're definitely doing their thing. Like, I think that the Rams got the right one, especially for their system in Jacoby Durant. HBCU aside, whatever you want, small school, whatever you want to put aside. We're talking about a guy that went to the Shrine Bowl in Vegas, matched up with some of the best players that got drafted. A smaller corner in terms of outside corner, but a guy that proved that he can match up with anybody. He had 2 interceptions versus Clemson. So that's something that people need to understand is important for HBCU players. Getting the opportunities when you play out of conference. A lot of people look at it as a money grab or just a blowout. But a lot of these guys are playing for their stock. They're playing for the opportunity to be seen by teams and every team. So playing the Clemson, which is not that far from South Carolina State, for them, they're out for blood. It doesn't matter the score. They're out for blood. A lot of those guys wanted to go to Clemson and ended up at South Carolina State for whatever reason, just like Darius Leonard. Went to Clemson, various Clemson camps. They didn't want him. You know what I'm saying? And this guy is the highest paid linebacker in the league. Multiple-time Pro Bowler, All-Pro from South Carolina State, HBCU guy. Very vocal about it. You know what I'm saying? So that's a school. I know they won the Celebration Bowl. I know a lot of people are paying attention to them now. But if you look at them historically, speaking of the Lions, Robert Porcher, if you look at the South Carolina State Bulldogs historically, a lot of HBCU legends come out of there. Speaking of the Eagles, Javon Hargrave came from the Steelers. A lot of guys, you know what I'm saying? So that's a school where you're going to go. And it's country down there. They got a whole lot of lights. They ain't got a whole lot of this and that and the other, but they know how to play football. They're strong, athletic guys, and they just go down there and play. They don't talk. That's why they came and they did what they did against Jackson State. And yeah, it's a lot of talent across the HBCU circuit. And this next couple of years, South Carolina State is going to have plenty more aside from Jacoby Durant. So yeah, Zafir Kelly, the other cornerback on the other side of him, is signed to the Packers. So with that being said, there's a lot of guys, like I said, it's over 30, but there's definitely a lot of talent at South Carolina State. I'm looking forward to seeing him on the Rams.
So how many guys got drafted this year? I know we were talking about it earlier. How many guys got drafted this year and were then picked up?
All right, so right now, well, it was 4 guys drafted. The 4 are Jatir. Well, first off, it was Joshua Williams from Fayetteville State. Fayetteville State is a Division II, and Joshua Williams is the only HBCU player selected to the Senior Bowl from a D2. There was only 2 D2 players at the Senior Bowl, period, and both were drafted. The second player, like we said, was Jacoby Durant. The third player was Jatir Carter from Southern, offensive tackle, but he played offensive guard, he played center. He played the other tackle position at the Senior Bowl, had a great Senior Bowl, did his thing. He's actually repped by Young Money. He's from, I don't know too much about New Orleans particularly. I know he's from Algiers. I don't know, New Orleans people don't kill me, but yeah, he's from Algiers. He's repped by Young Money. He knows Wayne, Mac Main, all of them. So they knew he was going to be the truth before a lot of people did. And yeah, he's legit. I think he gave up 1 sack this year out of like 400 snaps or something like that. He's definitely the truth. He went to the Bears, and the last person, like I said, was James Houston. He had a phenomenal year this year. Well, if he would have came out of Florida, he would have been undrafted. He had a great year at Jackson State and proved that he could be an outside pass rusher, outside linebacker, very versatile player, and it got him drafted. Like I said this off the air. If he was there for another year, if he was there in the class of 2023 and had 2 years with Dion and 2 years with Coach Prime to really push his name and to get that exposure of being able for people to see that he had 2 consistent years as an edge rusher, he would have went 3rd round, 2nd round, you know, but he's there and he's going to use this opportunity and he's going to prove to a lot of people why he should have went a lot higher.
Obviously, there's plenty of legends that have been drafted from HBCU colleges and everything like that. We got Walter Payton, one of the greatest running backs ever. Jerry Rice, greatest receiver ever. There's plenty others. What can the NFL do, GMs do, you think, to help draft more HBCU guys? Or what can HBCU colleges do to help their stock get drafted also?
I'll tell you both. I'm gonna start with the league. I just looked up this morning. I put a tweet out this morning. I'll sometimes be going on rants about this, but the Patriots. I do not like the Patriots. It has nothing to do with me as a Raiders fan. I'm over the Tucker. I don't care about any of that. I try to be very professional about this, but I do not like the Patriots in this regard because I feel like majority of the HBCUs are along 95. They're along the northeastern part of the country. So there's no excuse for the Patriots, which my math serves me correctly from this morning, have drafted 6 HBCU players in like 35 years. The Raiders are well over 40 in that span. You get what I'm saying? The Bills, well over. The Chiefs, the AFC West, historically, from Willie Brown to Albert Lewis to Willie Lanier to whoever you can name, from that division, legendary. You feel what I'm saying? So the Patriots, I just don't feel like they do a good enough job of making the effort. They didn't sign any undrafted players. They didn't invite any to camp this year or the year before that. Or the year before that. You get what I'm saying? So there are some teams that really need to take the initiative to try because I'm not really sure what the criteria is for them. And I say this to say, as we get further into what we're doing and really getting to know some of the teams, schemes, their boys, what they're looking for and stuff like that, I can't imagine where there's not a board for an organization where a kick returner from Jackson State can be on your board. It doesn't matter what school he's at. If he can return kicks and he's fast and he has some awareness and vision, he should be on your board. So you're telling me there's not one player from Deion Sanders' school that qualifies to be on a Patriots rookie camp, anything? Not this year. It's multiple years. HBCUs, what can they do? The schools themselves, from top to bottom, can do a better job of taking advantage of the moment. And I know a lot of y'all are older, and I don't mean this to offend anyone, but this is a new day and age. We've been complaining about HBCUs. So to set precedent, I think that this is a year that you start fresh. We don't need to keep talking about, if we're not paying homage, we don't need to keep talking about players that got drafted 30 years ago, because that serves no purpose to right now. If we're talking about the last 10 years, that doesn't serve purpose to right now, because 10 years, the numbers were different. And 10 years ago, when it wasn't that many interviews on TV, we still had a consistent 5 to 6 players drafted. You feel what I'm saying? So like, this is something we need to set precedent and like talk about what we need to do to change it. So to answer your question, the MEAC, the SWAC, perfectly fine. The CIAA, getting there. Bowie State, great team. Their social media, amazing. You feel what I'm saying? Bowie State, dominant D2 program. They did not have a player drafted, and they are still waiting on a player to get signed, undrafted free agent or rookie camp. Fayetteville State, who cannot beat Bowie State at all, had Joshua Williams. He's 6'3", he's an amazing athlete, and he got drafted. Neither one of these schools can get 10 teams to come to their pro day. That's Fayetteville State. Joshua Williams took over, you know what I'm saying, got all the love. He went to North Carolina State's pro day. None of the rest of his teammates did. 3 of them went to Campbell, which is another program that's getting their props, but is not getting 25 scouts there. And then the rest of them, it was a scramble. And I know this person, because players is like, can you help us? You feel what I'm saying? We talking about 800-yard rushers. We talking about 900-yard receivers. We talking about 10-sack guys. You get what I'm saying? The runner-up for the CIAA, no, actually, I'm sorry. CIAA Defensive Player of the Year. He had like 23 tackles for loss. Keyshawn James. Nothing right now. You get what I'm saying? So NFL has a lot of work to do. I just watched Bowie State win the CIAA championship for the 3rd straight year. Get to the 3rd round of the D2 playoffs, and they have 4 scouts at Pro Day. And these are the same regional scouts. This is the Ravens, it's the Redskins, the Commanders, it's the Eagles, and maybe the Giants or the Jets. That's the issue. You get what I'm saying? And it's not an issue because of Bowie State. It's not an issue because I'm from here. It's an issue because Bowie State had the top tight end in the XFL. It's an issue because the Bowie State has 2 players in the USFL. They got to play in this league. They got to play in this league. They had a blocking tight end that played 8 years in the NFL and then went to the damn XFL and played for the Defenders and had like 6 receiving touchdowns. They got a criteria of players all over. They had the best player who the NFL still owes, Amir Hall. They still owe them for him. You feel what I'm saying? And what happened to him? But there needs to be a change, because we know now when you got a guy like Joshua Williams from Fayetteville State who didn't have a player drafted in 20 years before him, when you draft him, there's no excuse now. You should be able to send 10 scouts to every CIAA school. Going below the CIAA or at the bottom of the CIAA, that's the problem. Johnson C. Smith, St. Augustine, these teams that are terrible and they have low budgets, they don't have pro days, their social media is some shit. They got a guy there named Mccall Greer at St. Augustine, 6'5". You 6'5" and you can catch and you can run routes. Your school needed promotion. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He had the numbers until they started doubling him or whatever. No pro day, nothing. You feel what I'm saying? And he just like, damn. He got invited to a showcase game called the FCS Bowl, but he out there fending for himself. It's a lot of guys that's fending for themselves because of their school. You know what I'm saying?
How their school promote them?
How? All right, so the #1 social media school, FCS was FAMU, Florida A&M.
Yeah.
They they understand that you have a school of journalism. I don't understand how you have a school of journalism or any type of global communication school and you don't have interns or you don't have paid internship. I used to work at Morgan. They have paid internships for graphics and shit. Every school has to be able to do that. FAMU has electrifying graphics. FAMU has a partnership with LeBron and all of that shit, but they made it get known. They jerseys is the first, yesterday, they just had the prettiest girl they could find on camera. I don't even think she was on a damn team with the LeBron FAMU jersey. You feel what I'm saying? Everything that they got going on, they promoted to a high level, state-of-the-art graphics. Their players coming out. Look at FAMU's graphics on their page for their undrafted players. That should look like some shit you would see on Tennessee or Kentucky. You get what I'm saying? And what they understand is it doesn't cost state-of-the-art money to do this. Because everything that you see on Draft HBCU is from a phone, from Canva, or whatever we use. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's keeping up with modern technology and understanding. And I'm not saying that it has to be the big schools, because Bowie State does an amazing job of promoting stuff. Let me think of another school below them. In the CISIA. Benedict. My bad. What you say, bro?
Nah, I said I'm looking at FAMU's IG right now.
Like, yeah, like they have an understanding. Like,
Jay the girl you was talking about on FAMU joint.
He had to jump on that.
Hey man, why not, right? You know.
Got it. Now look, hey bro, while you on there, I want you to go to search, go to JCSU. You're gonna see a yellow bull. That's Johnson C. Smith, which is in North Carolina. Now, how I look at it is, how I look at Johnson C. Smith, this is a school that has, they had their time in the 80s and 90s, whatever, but I look at it as you're in the middle of all of these other schools in North Carolina that you're competing with. Everybody from Duke to Fayetteville to Winston-Salem to whoever, A&T, all of that. You looking at the page?
You said JCCU?
No, JCSU, Johnson C. Smith University.
Look
at this sports.
It's really those teams, those lower tier teams that they need to pick the slack up with the rest.
It's the effort, but this is what I'm saying about the effort is that if it's not even it's about keeping up with the times, but it's about the sorriest team has a great player. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. The sorry team has a good player with a shitty attitude, and the sorry team has a good player with a great attitude.
It's just
that great player has a chance. Yeah, that great player has a chance of being an undrafted free agent or something like that if you put them in the right position. And that is very true for schools like Alcorn. Felix Harper is going to the Browns with Deshaun Watson. He's coached by Dorico Hines. He's been coached by him for years. He got a relationship with Donovan McNabb and all that shit. But Alcorn has a great relationship with the Packers. Once they sent Donald Driver, they every year undrafted players. They just had them there. They was there. Like some teams, they get it. They got the scout and all that stuff, and then they embrace the times. Like once certain schools started hearing about a game from us. Like some schools, like, hey, send us the stuff, tag us, whatever, We appreciate it. We trying to highlight our players. Boom. They don't give a fuck that we only got a couple thousand followers. They like, yeah, these motherfuckers got half our players following them. You know what I'm saying? Like it was last part before I let you ask another question. I think it's Winston-Salem State. Their teacher DM'd us one day, and I'm grown. I'm working, doing shit like that. I'm posting shit on content when I get time. I'm not thinking about the fact that these kids in school. Professor DMs us and says, I might as well follow y'all too, since apparently Draft HBCU is what my kids is looking at in my class all day. So, you know what I'm saying? Now that we got the professors sharing our stuff and stuff like that, it's really cool. You know what I'm saying? So basically what schools can do, increase social media presence, not just social media, but increase all of your presence in terms of entertainment and attention for our guys.
Media.
That means every week posting stats. That means cut-ups. That means little, quirky graphics. That means sending tape out. That means answering emails. Answer emails. Motherfucker, a lot of schools do not answer emails. Press passes, credentials, bro. I'm trying to go to school. I will send an email like, look, I'm a Morgan State graduate, and the shit'll bounce. I'm sending emails about last year was the Jackson State and Tennessee State. This is Eddie George versus Deion Sanders. And we did not get an email back for like 3 weeks till we called. I'm like, bro, come on, bro. 3 weeks is a long time for somebody coming from DC and Maryland trying to fly to Tennessee. You feel what I'm saying? Like little stuff like that. Now, and I'm not saying it like that, but I'm just saying now, what if I wasn't from Draft HBC? What if I'm a writer for the Chiefs and they, what if I'm a scout for the Chiefs? Or what if I'm whatever? And you don't ignore my shit because of whatever. You don't ignore my shit because I don't got a check mark, or you don't ignore my shit because I don't got a name. You done fucked up opportunity. How you know I'm not the person that could get that player to where they need to be?
And those people that get ignored and are those people like you're talking about, they're not sending a second email. They're not following up. They're like, exactly. I'm not getting that. Done.
And then the last thing is, and this is for all the HBCU, is the elitist mindset from, and this, I don't know who went to where, from Howard is better than y'all to we got more money than y'all, and Hampton we private, so we better than y'all, and all of this shit.
That was my issue when I first got introduced. I'm sorry, but that was my issue when I first got introduced to HBCUs. Not when I first, well, kind of when I first got introduced to HBCUs. That was my issue. It was Hampton, the Hampton crowd. A lot of people considered them like to be one of the elite of the HBCUs, and they had this arrogance towards other black and their own fellow black that I didn't dig for a minute. So it turned me off to a lot of the HBCU, whole culture for a minute.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that, because I mean, and everybody experience is different. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I went to HBCUs. I went to Morgan, and at the time I went to Morgan, I was outside. You get what I'm saying? So I wasn't thinking about crossing. I'm not thinking about a lot of that stuff. I'm thinking about getting girls. I'm thinking about going to the side. I know they got go-go's every couple months. And I'm gonna be real with you.
We lost Maliik there for a second. So I'm a co-star here.
I ain't gonna lie to him. When I was going, them HBCUs, bro, I was supposed to go to Morgan, Lincoln, and Alabama A&M. So, I went to Alabama A&M's homecoming, and that joint was lit, though.
Yeah. Nah, I'm not saying they weren't lit. They most definitely be lit. Yeah. But they had like a...
Yeah, like, they got the arrogance.
Yeah, the competing factor and the arrogance like that they look down on, other HBCUs that don't have the same name as maybe the bigger ones, so to speak, if you can consider bigger ones. Pause. But yeah.
Go ahead, Cheeto.
Yo, so I didn't get to do none of my draft grades there.
Go for it.
The teams I don't like, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Baltimore Ravens, and they crushed the draft. Like you said, New York Jets crushed the draft as well. But the Ravens, they just got people just like dropping in their fucking lap. Y'all got Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame, number 5 guy on Mel Kiper's board. He's drafted 14 for y'all. Tyler Lindenbaum, the center, he's gonna protect Lamar. He's gonna get the running game going for him all the time. Then he went out and got your boy from Michigan, Jay. They got a Jobo there. Yeah. So they got those guys. Another guy they got in round 4, Daniel I'm gonna butcher this name, Falili from Minnesota, offensive tackle. The guy's 6'8", 390 pounds. Like, this guy is like, oh, you want to run behind me? Okay.
He like three people who was second down per year.
That's almost like some Leon Lett stuff, where he was bench pressing like, nah, I got oh my God, I'm butchering. How am I forgetting the dude's name? It definitely wasn't Leon Lett, but
G, all right, this is my thing with Baltimore's draft, right?
Fuck Baltimore, by the way.
All day, every day.
I don't feel like them, but everybody else. I don't feel like them.
But who is Lamar going to throw the ball to?
Hey,
they gave away Marquise. They gave away Hollywood Brown. So I'm trying to figure out, like, yeah, they got some defensive studs. They got an old line, which is cool because we know they're running heavy offense. But who's catching outside of Mark Andrews? I think they drafted another tight end too.
They got another tight end late, but they got Rashad Bateman. He was injured for most of his rookie season. Last season, he came on at the end of the season. So they're definitely banking on him a lot. But I saw this one little pick. It was like a picture of Lamar Jackson throwing to anyone, and he had blocking in front of me. It was like, okay. Lamar Jackson throwing to Hollywood, being tackled all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, I don't know. I saw people kept saying they gave them a high grade and they really liked what Baltimore did. They did get some good players, don't get me wrong, but I just see Lamar, man. I don't know. Rashad Bateman is gonna be able to be a number one receiver. I mean, that's gonna be tough. You know what I'm saying? They already in a tough division. You know what I'm saying? So, and last year we know all they running backs went down before the season started. So I'm interested to see how it is. But they did have a good draft. But I just was I'm like, damn, they traded Hollywood and they didn't really get nobody to replace him. So
we still got a little bit of time before the season comes.
There's definitely time. That's true. Like you can sign. Hey, the boy y'all let go, Julio. He available.
Yeah.
You know,
that's like saying that's like one of us being available right now, for real, for real. I mean, I like Julio.
I don't know about that. That's a stretch.
Julio is a great player, but relying on him consistently week in and week out, you are going to be disappointed, unfortunately. I would love to see Julio do his thing, but I just don't know if he's going to be that dominant force that he was when he was in Atlanta. But who knows? Who knows? I guess go with your misses. Who missed in the draft?
Anybody do any reading or no?
Huh? Right? Hey, welcome back. We in part 2 with my man Maliik. You know, we got it's called a charger. We got to use those sometimes. So hey, run it back. Where were we, Maliik? Talk to us.
Oh yeah,
spitting that hot fire.
We were talking about what HBCUs can do better to bridge that gap and meet teams in the middle. Let me talk about what players need to do. Players need to understand that everybody is not going to go to the NFL, or everybody's not going to go to the NFL meeting. And that this opportunity that they have is a blessing this year and the years coming, because not only do they have the NFL, but they have several leagues that are paying and that are looked at as leagues that can possibly turn into pipelines. I say possibly because I thought the XFL was going to turn into one in 2020, but COVID happened. That is coming back. It'll be back next year. And actually the draft is going to be, the camp is going to be invite only in July. And they're gonna have the draft and all of that. So that's coming up. USFL is going right now. They're cutting players and signing players. You know what I'm saying? They drafted 15 HBCU players. So, you know, you got the fan controlled football league. The director of communications just followed me today. So hopefully we can try to communicate with them and see what we can do to help them get more. They got a couple guys in there right now. They got a guy that just came out this year, Sam Brown. He went to Kentucky State. He's a corner. He's pretty good. He's in the fan control league. I'm gonna be honest with you, I gotta watch more of that. I have been watching running back from Delaware State, Bryson Aline. I saw him at his pro day. I think that was 2019. His pro day was 2019. I seen his pro day. He was at Delaware State shared their pro day. They went to Delaware University pro day with Nazir Adderley, who's at the Chargers, and a couple of other guys. Yeah, he's a pretty good running back. I know that the fans control who gets to play every week or something like that. He's been consistently playing. He's electric. Wow. Like he was in the MEAC. You know what I'm saying? So good for that. Like I said, there's a couple of different leagues, and players can use these leagues to springboard themselves. A lot of these guys need to understand that even if you get drafted in the first round in the NFL, there's not a guarantee you're going to make it. And then even the guys that did get drafted in the first round, like Titus Howard, he's had an uphill battle. He's a damn good tackle. The Texans, at first they were playing, they moved him around at guard and stuff. And he did his thing. Go look at, you can look at my tweets. Go look at what Titus Howard from Alabama State did against TJ Watt, who just won Defensive Player of the Year. You feel me? So like Titus Howard is a damn good player, and he just signed his 5th-year extension. You feel what I'm saying? With the Texans. Who I thought had a damn good draft, and putting some players around Davis Mills, who I like a lot, and I feel like they're going to be good, and Titus Howard will benefit from that when they start winning some games under Lovie Smith. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of guys, but even with that, looking at history, a lot of the greatest HBCU players are undrafted, and we got 4 undrafted Hall of Famers, 4 of them. You know what I'm saying? So looking at that, like, wherever you go, you just got to do what you got to do. You feel what I'm saying? Everybody wanted chip on their shoulder. They hate it and all this stuff. Everybody loves saying that. I mean, goddamn, everybody say that for any reason. You get an opportunity like these guys are getting, You need to make the most of it. Whether you feel like it's affirmative action or not, you are benefited from it while there's guys out here depressed, there's guys out here working jobs, there's guys out here that gave up on their dream or didn't have as many opportunities as you had. I'm going to use another guy's example real quick. It's a guy named Loren Young. He goes to Langston. Langston is in the NAIA, okay? Langston
I was gonna say, I've never even heard of that joint.
Langston is in Oklahoma. It's an HBCU in Oklahoma.
I've
So
driven through Oklahoma. They ain't shit there but big ass bugs on your windshield.
They don't play the wide variety of these schools. So I say that to say Loren Young got a great opportunity because, to be honest with you, we didn't even put any in our NAIA teams in our game because of their schedule and everything in the level of play. But Loren Young was so good that he got an opportunity to go to the HBCU Legacy Bowl, which was sponsored by the NFL Network. And if you go to NFL, the actual NFL's Twitter, I don't even remember the date. But the day of the HBCU Legacy Bowl, they put him up there. He had 2 sacks, and 1 million something people got to see Loren Young get these 2 sacks in the game. And he's got a couple CFL offers right now on the table. He got some stuff he needs to sort out and stuff like that. And for a player like that, not only from a school that's small in terms of the overall scope, but a player like that who admittedly has things that they need to take care of. You feel what I'm saying? To have the opportunities that he has is a blessing. When you got guys, like we said, from Jackson State that didn't get drafted, guys from Southern, from FAMU, from this one and that one that don't have opportunities, or guys in years past that didn't have opportunities. These guys have to take advantage of this situation, utilize this experience at these schools to say, okay, I'm gonna get this Black college education, but I'm gonna mature on and off the field and use this time to not only get better as players, but become better leaders and understand that what you do off the field and the people that can that you have a rapport with that can speak for you, that takes you a lot. That can take you far, and it's taken a lot of our players further than their stats or their arm or whatever could ever take them, and it's given them a lot of opportunities. So I think that we need to look at the opportunities that these guys have, and not saying that everybody needs to just bow down and be grateful, but some of these guys, be honest with you, they got a lot of opportunities when guys were better than them or did more than them, and they got opportunities off of their potential too. It's not all flat out studs that just dominated. It's some guys that got in with potential. And that's how this game works. As somebody that doesn't primarily work just HBCU, but is deeply grounded in this as a Morgan State graduate and wants the best for these players, but also wants the players, the coaches, not the coaches, because a lot of these coaches are former NFL players, college players, but players, families, agents, NIL agents, all of that, to understand the scope of what's going on so that we're blindly leading our players and allowing them to be in a situation where we are in, where players don't see the value, where players want to transfer as soon as they get a little hype or whatever the situation may be. There's a lot of variables in this situation, and we got time to talk about all of that. But there are things that these schools and these players need to do. Players need to step it up. Everybody needs to be shooting for first team, whatever conference you're in. Everybody needs to be shooting for the Senior Bowl. Everybody needs to be shooting for NFLPA, Shrine, etc. Everybody needs to be shooting for having a clean record. Everybody needs to be shooting for interviewing well. Everybody needs to be doing everything that the players at Penn State and Michigan and all that are hearing. Not saying that they're all listening, but they know it.
Maliik, let me ask you this. I know you said like a lot of these players need to have the tools. And it's gonna sound crazy, but do some of the HBCUs have like the resources for them to like give these young players like how to interview and what to expect, like when they talk to NFL scouts, or do they, you know what I'm saying, do they have the resources plugged in so they can be taught these things, you know what I'm saying, so when they get the opportunity they can take advantage of it?
I think it's a yes and no question. I think it's yes, and it's yes at the top schools and at some of the bottom schools, and then it's no. So I give an example at the, not bottom, but I give you an example of a school that was once dominant and now has very little resources and doesn't have the resources to get their players out there or to give those players the resources that you're talking about. And that's Central State. Central State was a dominant program out in Wilberforce, Ohio in the 90s. And the player that I'm going to talk about, Hugh Douglas, we all know him, Eagles, Jets, all of that. He's a big force for trying to get people to see the value in HBCUs. I'm sure he does what he does monetarily for Central State, but a lot of HBCUs, I don't know what it's the misplacement of the money, the distrust, whatever it is to get us to this point. It doesn't seem like that everybody has that support from the alumni, from the legends, or giving the support to the legends, or giving their respect, or whatever, to where we have that balance. Not only just giving the legends good seats and shit like that, but also giving the legends the ability to be in the locker room, to talk to these players, to teach them this stuff. And I'm gonna tell you, a lot of these schools, a lot of internal issues. I'm very happy for my school, Morgan State University. They've appointed their first woman AD. That's cool. But this woman seems to be very understanding of not only what the landscape is, but understanding that Morgan sucks. Football-wise, basketball-wise, they're a pretty good team that gets to the tournament every couple of years. But athletically, they need to take it to another level. Morgan, as somebody that went there, that worked in the school, in a couple of different schools, that was in journalism, sport journalism, stuff like that, I'm looking forward to a new day. As you can see, FAMU, internal stuff, a lot of people leaving the program that was in higher status in a lot of stuff. Like, it's a lot of stuff that these schools can do to better prepare. I take FAMU, for instance, they had an incident where, I think that was 2019. There's a lot of hoopla about them having the scouts leave. But people don't know that the scouts did not come to FAMU's pro day, and they had zero people there, because FAMU's pro day was scheduled at 8:30 in the morning. And then because of whatever was going on at FAMU, the pro day didn't end up happening till 4:30. So if I'm a scout for the NFL, and I gotta drive this car, and I got miles, and I gotta allocate miles, and I got kids, and I got my wife, and I got this and that in the oven, I gotta be at Florida State across the way in Tally at 10 or 11 or whatever. And then I got whatever pro day I gotta go to the next day, because these guys is on a gauntlet once March and stuff come around, 10, 12 cities in a month or whatever. They left 8 hours later. You feel me? So for FAMU to go from that point to now, where they got a show on ESPN and Marquise Bell and all of this stuff, and the great promotion and LeBron and Chris Paul and all that, that's a testament to what they're doing on the inside. They're getting there. Whatever eternal strife that they got going on is still going on, to where they letting people go, and the FAMU community got whatever going on. But the other schools, no. Some of them don't have the resources, and some of them need to figure out who they need to latch to in terms of some major entity, whether it's not just the NFL itself, maybe it's the NFLPA, maybe it's a specific player, maybe it's a Livingstone College saying, find Ben Coates and treat this motherfucker like royalty, because this is Patriots royalty, this is Patriots Ring of Honor, this is our shining star, and we got a player in Bernard Mccall who's a tight end that should be under Ben Coates' wing. He's the best Livingstone player we got. We suck. We won one game. You feel me? We don't have the resources like that. Our social media is ass. That's what we need to improve. You feel me? We're not promoting this guy. Have you ever, on the list of players that you're talking about and that we talking about, have any of y'all heard of or heard about Bernard Mccall? Maybe not. But he got invited to the Panthers camp. He's from that area. He got invited to the Panthers camp in Carolina. The Bears was talking about him. He didn't get drafted, but I'll be honest with you, in probably the next week or so, he probably get an undrafted rookie camp shot or something like that. This is a big-ass tight end that's super athletic. This motherfucker was getting triple teamed in the CIAA as a tight end that can move around everywhere. He's going to get a shot. You feel what I'm saying? So when you got a player like that, whatever the resources is, you got to make it work. And I'm going to tell you what, there's schools that don't have the resources that are making it work. Go look at what Deion Sanders is doing. He's trying to build a new, do something with Mississippi Valley. Mississippi Valley won 4 games last year. That was the most game they won in a long time. They got a couple prospects that's going to get some undrafted offers. They're not a really good team. They ain't been really good since Jerry Rice, who's the stadium is named after. But they also have the smallest budget for athletics in the entire SWAC. It's something stupid. Like, how the hell do you make this work? But they stepped their social media up. They pushed so much into Jerry Garner and the guys that they got that are possibly going to get some undrafted shots that they are going to be, I'm sorry. Jerry Garner got an undrafted shot, I believe, with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I believe. I'm going to check on that. But yeah, like, they put so much into them guys this year that their recruitment this year has went crazy. They had like a top 10 recruiting class in the SWAC. You feel me? And that's major for the future. Like, they had the most competitive 4 wins in the SWAC this year. They almost beat Jackson State.
What school we talking about again?
Mississippi Valley State.
Mississippi Valley
That's
State.
where Jerry Rice played at. They didn't, they've been pretty bad, but they had a pretty good four games this year to the point where they stepped their recruiting up, and they probably win 6 to 7 games this year. But the 6 to 7 games, they got a wide receiver and they got a running back named Caleb Johnson. Caleb Johnson might fuck around and have 1,500 yards this year. And if they win 7 games and Caleb Johnson rushes for 1,500 yards, he's going to be on the NFL's radar. What he does the year after that is on him. You feel what I'm saying? But we got to know that. We got to know that. You can't have a 600-yard season.
That's where you come, right?
That's where we come in at.
Else know this right now.
That's where we come in at. And that's what's our job, to not only inform players about what we think about them and how they can get better, but also about what they need to know. Like, being a man on campus, not enough. It's not.
I know one thing you said, definitely mentoring. And that's like, if you get some of those big time players that were there before these young cats, mentoring them, it's kind of a little segue here, because Jay's man, Ryan Tannehill, ain't about that life, he said. He said, yo, that's not my job. Not my job to be mentoring this man, Malik Willis, right now. What y'all think about that? That's crazy, right?
It's terrible. That shit was, me being a Tennessee fan, that was really disappointing to hear. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know it's common in the NFL. I know, Brett Favre with Aaron Rodgers, Joe Montana with Steve Young. It's probably a few other quarterbacks that I'm forgetting, but those are the 2 off the top of my head that I can remember. They didn't mentor their quarterbacks coming up, but it's disappointing, man. Yeah, you don't necessarily have to mentor, you know what I'm saying, a player coming in, but it just looks like an asshole move. You know what I'm saying? I understand that, you had a tough postseason playoffs game. You threw 3 picks. He said he had to go to therapy and all that other stuff to come out of a dark place. But I mean, you should want to at least take the young guy under your wing and just, in case you get hurt or anything. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You got your payday. You've been in the league for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he'll probably eventually take your spot, but just to hear that is just kind of like, dog, come on, bro. Like, what are we doing, man? Like, that shit was just real disappointing. I was really disappointed in Ryan Tannehill when I heard that, to be honest with you. I was
speaking about I guess he's a legend. I like to think he's a legend in my eyes, kind of, I guess. But Kurt Warner came out, he
I saw that.
Take every opportunity you get. Kurt Warner, I did just watch the Underdog Story, so I'm not gonna lie. I'm more hip to his story, whatever. I knew this fool was in the grocery store working his ass off or whatever. He didn't even want the shot in the Arena League football league, but he took a shot. He got there. Somehow ends up in the NFL with the Rams. Greatest show on turf. But he's quoted. He said, "I'll never understand how I'm not here to mentor the next guy." Mentality kind of thing. So for all the young quarterbacks that need a mentor, DM me. I'll be here, he said. So that's big of him, man. He did that for Eli also when he got drafted.
I get it.
Yeah, I mean,
but
go ahead, Malik. Go ahead.
I get it. I think that for him, he has to. This is my opinion. I think Ryan Tannehill is like a top 12 to 15 quarterback. He's cool. I think that he is in a situation, of course, where, like you said, all of those tandems that you named, and even I don't know if that was Mike. Somebody said RG3 and Kirk Cousins. I think that all those tandems you named, even with Cousins and RG3, those are situations where you got a quarterback who's clearly has a high ceiling. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about this is a situation where Malik Willis is not only going to be a guy that we think if he's given the time to grow, he's going to be great. I thought that wherever he went, I don't want him. I personally, as a black man, as a football fan, etc., I don't want him to start nowhere the first year by himself because I feel like as soon as he does that, he'll be the next Justin Fields or whoever, and he'll be out of the league. I mean, Justin Fields is going down that path. Well, not out of the league, but you know how it goes. But I wanted him to be in a situation like this. I feel like the Titans win. It's a win-win for them because if they allow Malik Willis to be in certain situations, like certain packages where they had a Mariota to Tannehill, where you can preserve Tannehill a bit and allow Malik Willis to kind of get a feel of coverages and get those looks without the pressure of throwing, I don't know, 900 attempts or something crazy like that in his first year because he's on a sorry-ass roster with no help. You bringing him in a situation where he's going to have guys. I know A.J. Brown's gone, but he's going to have guys he's going to grow with. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And different packages, like I said, you can. The option with him, I don't care what year it is. He's going to be a monster in the option. You feel what I'm saying? Like Tannehill, hey, it is what it is. But the Titans, they're going to benefit from it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Tannehill got an opportunity to embrace this shit and really say, okay, however it goes, if Tannehill throws a certain percentage, he looks a certain way, they go to the playoffs, he leaves, he's going to be in position to continue his career somewhere else and do what he wants to do somewhere else and get a money grab, in my opinion. That's what he wants. You feel what I'm saying? But not really embracing this situation and being a cancer in the locker room with a guy who's not only super talented, but that so many people are rooting for, and I'm sure that he's going to get his teammates around. I don't want to see that situation turn. I feel like
And I think Tannehill just feeling like he's feeling the pressure. Like he knows, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the first year he got with us, we went to the AFC Championship. The second year we got knocked out by Baltimore. The third year, which was this year, he threw the 3 picks. He basically lost the game. And now they got this super talented kid that's coming in, and you feel the pressure on you. So you like, nah, I'm gonna do what I gotta do to keep my job, and that's fine. But you can still be a mentor, and like you said, you don't want to cause friction and tension in the locker room, and between the two. So it's gonna be bad. It sucked to pause, but it was bad to hear.
What you think, Willie?
That's Jay man. It's like, nah. But I think we got.
That ain't my man. He just.
That's your man.
My quarterback.
I think we got bitch. You understand? I mean, it is giving me a different perspective to hear that, he actually dealing with some inner issues. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't. He dealing with some inner issues. He said he went to therapy. I'm glad he's taking that approach, to get himself together and everything like that. But yeah, like you said, he been in the league about 9 years or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You should be.
Willie, he went to therapy because he threw 3 interceptions, B. That's why he went to therapy. He ain't go to therapy because
not against nobody else.
Just saying.
He went to therapy because he's a weak ass bitch. But no, that's why he went to therapy. But like I said, I'm glad
he got paid
I'm glad
he got $200 million contracts. He got one when he was in Miami. He got another one in Nashville.
He ain't getting $200 million in Miami.
No, he got like 95 to 97 million in Miami, and then he got 100 in Tennessee.
Okay.
Yeah, see, like I said, he got the money. He got everything that anybody can ask for. And he out here hating and shit.
Hey.
But yeah, I hope he get the help that he need with his weak ass bitch self. But yeah.
Hey, I can't. It's like somebody like, hey, look, we got this person right here. They're gonna take your job at your job, but not yet. So I just need you to like work with this guy, So I mean,
the Titans preseason game is gonna sell out. I know that.
We gonna be lit, baby. We gonna be lit.
Coming from. I can understand a little bit, but you don't say that out loud. You don't in a press conference kind of thing. You might feel that way, like, man, fuck this dude about to fucking take my job.
I mean, that ain't. that ain't his spot no more. That is not that's it in his spot no more. But you know, I don't see it, man. I really don't. I don't see it. I guess if I was younger, if I'm a child, I could understand, but not as an adult, not as a man who done made millions of dollars, who is in this limelight, who has the opportunity to uplift, you know, this friend, what you call it, the fraternity that's of the NFL. It's a lot, man. I said this is a weak ass move, man.
Hey, the other thing,
But I think
if you the quarterback, sorry, cut you off, Jay. If you the quarterback, you gotta have that mindset like, yo, I'm the motherfucking man. I can make it rain out here. I can drop a dime on anybody out here. If you that confident in yourself, you ain't got to worry about that next man up almost too.
But I think for him, I think it was for him, I think too, because it was everything Ryan Tannehill does this year before they got Malik Willis was gonna be under the microscope, right? Anything he said and did. If like he didn't show up to the voluntary to the off-season program. They was like, where's Ryan Tannehill? He threw 3 picks. He should be there. He ain't even really need to be there because all he's doing is conditioning. But this is what I'm gonna say. It seemed like he was salty because they didn't consult with him that they were even drafting a quarterback, right? Okay. So it was like they didn't tell him. They weren't like, hey, you know, we're gonna draft a quarterback. So it seemed like he was kind of salty at that.
It's more of a fuck you. Fuck me, fuck you type thing.
Yeah, and he knows now, like this is his real probably last opportunity at being a starting quarterback in the league. I think he's got about maybe 2 years left with us, possibly to be in the, you know what I'm saying, to be our quarterback. And then after that, it's the Malik Willis show. I mean, unless he ball, I mean, he could be like Russell Wilson and ball out and just shit. Take his spot.
They drafted. I think the difference is they drafted the quarterback. Like, I don't think nobody else feels as confident about no other quarterback future.
Yeah.
They feel about this motherfucker. Like, I feel if they drafted Kenny Pickett, I'd be confident that Tannehill would be a starter. I'll be honest.
Yeah, he nervous, buddy. He nervous.
Hey, speaking about quarterbacks that got drafted, though, this wasn't even on the Jay, but yo, this quarterback, they're saying this Malik Willis drafted 3rd round. All these other quarterbacks drafted 3rd round. Only one that Kenny Pickett in the 1st round, and he was late in the 1st round almost compared to like the projections and stuff. So, how do y'all feel about this quarterback class? I've heard a lot of different things also.
I mean, it wasn't your typical quarterback class. I mean, it was a lot of people coming into the draft knew the quarterback draft was weak. Everybody was kind of waiting for next year when you got CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, those guys coming out. I don't know who else is coming out, but I mean, everybody kind of looked at it kind of weak. A lot of people thought that it was going to, you know, Kenny Pickett was probably going to go 6. They didn't know that they was going to go that long. They definitely didn't think the quarterbacks were going to start sliding off the board in the 3rd round, but it was weak. It was weak. You know what I'm saying? It was, in my opinion, it was probably like a D+.
Yeah, it was definitely wild.
My thing is always look at it like from the years past. So how do I feel about these quarterbacks in comparison to quarterbacks of the last draft class or the class before that when they came out? You know what I'm saying? So like, how does Kenny Pickett compare to, you know, Kyler Murray or Josh Allen or even Sam Darnold as prospect? You know what I'm saying? Not in the NFL, but as prospect. Yeah. I don't think that Kenny Pickett is better than any of them. I feel like at Malik Willis, if you take the quarterbacks to like the last 5 years, you put 10 of them up there, he's going to be in that 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to be somewhere in that 10 between Lamar and all of them. He's going to be above Baker and all of them as prospects. And I say that to say is a couple of reasons why. Like, look at what Malik Willis really did. I mean, this guy managed to get the world behind him to be a 1st-round pick, but he barely threw 600 passes in his career. He has no idea what, you feel me, like what it's like to really play with talent either, because nobody was talking about anybody else from Liberty in the draft class. I don't even know if anybody from Liberty got drafted. You feel what I'm saying? Or undrafted. I mean, Malik Willis really went out there, and then it wasn't like he had the best offensive line either. So a lot of the offense that they had was very vanilla. It was Malik create something. So you got when you putting this guy in position where his offensive line isn't that great, he got to roll out every time and then just make something happen. I mean, look at some of the games that he played like against SEC competition and stuff like that from from that school. Like, who is he throwing to? Who do you have to help? I mean, I'm taking 55% completions or 60% completions from Malik Willis at Liberty versus South Carolina or somebody like that over Baker Mayfield throwing 70% at fucking, I don't know, UNC or somebody like that. Fuck out of here. Like, this dude, he has the gifts. He don't have the talent. When he was at Auburn, he wasn't even really getting the snaps. You feel what I'm saying? So, like, he's going to be legit. I really feel like he's going to be legit. I don't feel like he's ready now, and that's not because he's black. Nothing. I feel like he's not ready because you throw what 400 of your passes against some of the average teams with really nobody throw it to. And I'm talking about dudes just dropping passes, all type of. I mean, he had a terrible cast, and for him to be looked at what he was looked at is amazing to me. You feel what I'm saying? So I feel like when you put him on the Titans, AJ Brown is gone, but dude, we talking about a playoff team. You feel what I'm saying? Like, even just throwing out of the backfield, or even having those options, in those different personnels, and having all of the guys that you got. Like, come on, man, you can't really just hone in on Malik Willis, and he's going to be able to grow. You feel me? He's going to be all right. He's going to be a Pro Bowl. He's going to be all pro, and he's going to be a hell of a TV personality.
We will see. We will see. Malik loving on Malik. I see.
I like Malik. I like it.
I know Jay's loving this. I know Jay's loving this right now.
I sent y'all in the chat. I sent it in the chat. I was like, watch me go mess around and draft Malik Willis. I was like, look, I had a feeling.
Third round. I mean, why not? Right?
Hey, why not?
If you get to the third round, I thought anybody.
Hey, that's what he's gonna do.
So, a question is Ryan Tannehill and Baker Mayfield just gonna like get a cup of tea together and just like cry about things? Because we both get right.
Baker Mayfield's in trouble, bro. He in trouble.
Oh man, but speak about somebody in trouble right now. We got my man DeAndre Hopkins. If y'all ain't here yet, he's suspended for 6 games next season for PEDs. He came out. He said, "Look, it's basically my body's my temple. I know what's putting in. Like, I'm gonna get to the bottom of this." He's saying he had no idea this happened. So I don't know how y'all feel about it, but he's not playing for 6 games right now. What's y'all's take on this situation? Jay, Willie?
What exactly was the substance that was found in his body? Anybody know?
I don't know.
It didn't come out with all the details yet from what I've been reading about and stuff, but basically it's some type of traces that came back. He came back tested positive for it in like November, I want to say, or something like that. But he said also there were other tests that came back negative. So he's not sure about this whole situation.
The 2, I think in October and I think September came back negative. And then one, like you said, in November was the one that tested positive. But
these are the tests he's getting suspended for? This is the results he gets suspended for?
He's getting suspended
for the one in November, last November. So it's been like 7 months, and since you know what I'm saying, since this test came out. So I was mad because I had D-Hop on my fantasy team. So and he for like 6 games ain't do shit. So
you fucking.
but I mean, like he cares. But I mean, like. I think it's unfortunate, man. I don't know. You know, of course he's supposed to say what he said, right? Like he didn't know. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna find out, whatever the case might be. I don't know why you haven't found out in 6 months, but hey, I don't. You know, that's not on me. But I think it's gonna be. It sucks for D-Hop, but it's gonna be even worse for the Cardinals, dog. Do you know how bad Kyler Murray was without DeAndre Hopkins, bro? Like,
maybe so, but. Initially, when I heard about it, I said, okay, I don't think it's that uncommon. And especially when we're talking about 6 months or some shit. Like, where to me, it said there's a lot more of this going on. And I would question, why 6 months? Why now? Well, I think it's a lot more going on. But go ahead with Kyle.
No, so I actually thought, so I was like, damn, why they just bringing this up now, 6 months later? Why they bringing it? Why they didn't tell us this? If they knew his results came back negative or positive in November, why they didn't suspend him last season, right? I don't know. I don't know how that works, but I'm with you, Willie. I was kind of baffled about that, but yeah, the Cardinals, like, they normally start off fast and slide down slow, pause, and you know, they gonna be some shit at the beginning. And they gonna be some shit at the end. Like, it's gonna be tough, man. I'm not gonna say they're gonna be bad, but they gonna struggle. I know they got Hollywood Brown. You know what I'm saying? That's Kyler's man and shit like that.
Don't call him that, bro.
Don't call him Hollywood.
Don't call him
okay,
that.
Mark. They got Marquise Brown, and I just don't know how that offense is gonna look.
Oh, that motherfucker is anything but Hollywood.
You don't deserve that name, huh?
That motherfucker had 10 drops last year. He is anything but Hollywood.
Okay, you right about that. The one in Detroit was the worst one. But
he dropped plenty. Dropped plenty. Like D Hop.
Another guy that can't force the defense to double nobody. So you feel what I'm saying? Like, and then you got, I mean, that's why they went and got drafted another tight end. I mean, you can't supplement losing D Hop, who takes defense deep and can beat anybody anywhere in the field, and then put another tight end with a guy like Kyler Murray, who you're trying to keep upright. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. By the time these tight ends get down the field, I'm fucking him up, man. Come on, man. I'm sending it this year. I don't gotta assign nobody. I don't gotta travel. I'm not traveling with Hollywood. He fighting demons. He fighting himself. He fighting losing his cousin. You feel what I'm saying? On some real shit. Like, I don't have to. I'm not. It's nobody who demanded a double team. Zach Ertz.
Nah, they got Kendall Moore though. You gotta watch out for him next year.
But I mean, come on, man. We talking about the division, the defenses that they playing, the secondaries. They ain't tripping off. They're not tripping off them guys. Man. They're not tripping. Yeah, this team is gonna take care of a lot of them guys.
So D Hop's in the middle of a situation too, because he first 8 years in the league, he started 126 out of 128 games. Only missed 2 games. Last season, coming up, he missed the last 7 games to end the season, as well as the playoff game. Missed the last 14 of 16 games, pretty much, with the suspension. So he's getting paid. He's turning 30 in June. He's getting paid about $20 million this year. Following season bumps up to 28 million or 27 million. So could this be the last we see of D Hop in Arizona?
I don't know. It need to be, because that motherfucker cooked my team plenty of times when he was with the Texans, and he cooked them motherfuckers again at the beginning of the last season. So he did enough.
I think this is gonna be a tough year for the NFL. I think whatever Devontae Adams does and a lot of these older guys do will set the precedent for like how guys like that get evaluated in the future. Like, listen, the next 5, 6, 7 draft classes got dogs at wide receiver, just like this year. Motherfucking Marvin Harrison Jr. about to come out soon. You know, we're not even supposed to say his name. Like, it's like a lot of talent. Like, if I'm getting these guys at 4th and 5th round now, and I don't even gotta get him in the first no more. Like Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Lions got him in the 2nd, 3rd round, and then they just drafted another receiver. But this dude was a beast.
Jameis Williams, younger from Alabama, Jamison Williams.
That's what I'm telling y'all, man. All these GMs and stuff, they're like, yo, we're not paying these stupid contracts. Not stupid contracts. Those guys deserve good contracts. Don't get me wrong. But then we're not playing these buku money out here when we can go draft these receivers that are going to put up numbers. I ain't got to pay him shit for almost 3 or 4 years, really. And then I get screwed later on, kind of thing.
Have you ever thought about how many dudes that's like 40, 50 years old that's saying, damn, these motherfuckers is drafting players with a torn ACL now in the 1st round? You feel what I'm saying? Like, they are willing to invest medically into these freak athletes that we know these dudes are nowadays and say, look, I'll take a hurt motherfucker over paying your ass. And you 33? You better get it together. You feel what I'm saying? League is not chances on no Jerry Rice's coming to Oakland's no more. You feel what I'm saying? Like, You 34, 35, you about to be in the fan control league, unless you produce. You know what I mean?
That's the game, yeah. They letting you go. But yeah.
Right.
Life without D-Hop in Arizona, it's gonna be real tough, man. Everything, of course, dropped.
3 wins, 3-4 wins.
They averaged 18.8 points in the last 5 games without him. Of course, with him, they averaged 30.2. Like his percentage dropped. His TD percentage dropped from 65.9 with D-Hop to 35.7. I mean, just hearing that number right there is just bad. I mean, we all saw the playoff game. I mean,
Kyler Murray was frustrated.
frustrated and running for his life.
Give me the ball out of my hand.
Hey, yeah, man. That's gonna be tough. I don't know if you want to draft Kyler Murray or D-Hop in your fantasy football league this year.
I'll take D-Hop at a discount late in the draft. I ain't mad at that.
I ain't messing with none of them old motherfuckers no more.
Hey,
That's a dead deal. Youngins, man.
Speak about old motherfuckers. We got my man. Oh man, Jae Jones. So he's all good. He's all good supposedly from this car accident, but he got in the car accident. It's reported he got in a car accident, and he's got in the car accident at a place called Harry Hines. And I didn't know this. I had to look it up. But supposedly that's where all the streetwalkers, hoes, and stuff be walking the corners, and that's where you pick him up at, supposedly. And he got in the car accident.
Jerry's about to get his shit off. Paul.
Do the math.
Well,
What?
Was nobody in the car with him?
You don't name names unless there's a fatality. The Texas authorities said.
Kind of like some Teddy Pendergrass shit.
He probably had a trainee in that joint for real, man. You know, he ain't people. His old ass can't tell who is who. You know what I'm saying? He probably had a trainee in that joint. They tried to kick that joint out and crashed.
Like, oh,
Get out!
wrong one. It ain't that. I can get that in the locker room, sir.
What? Yo, he was probably like, yo, that's fucking Jae Jones. Everybody get in this car. Everybody get in the car.
Yeah, man. Jerry, man, come on, man.
Hey,
Freaky Danny.
And he got.
Hey.
You're right.
Up in this. We talking about Jerry here.
Yo.
We talking about Jerry.
Hey, he got the baby girl that's coming for his money.
Hank and Harriet, Jerry on Harriet Hines.
Yo, these two old motherfuckers gotta go, man.
See no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil.
And he was just done a lawsuit with his little baby girl that his baby and the baby mama from another mother, you know. So,
he stayed busy. I give it to the old man. He stayed busy. I want to be as active as he is when I get that age, though. He stayed busy. You
gotta get that bread, man. Jerry's supposed to have them joints on a jet. You know what I'm saying? Getting frequent fire miles, man. He ain't supposed to be in no car, man.
Yeah,
take the tranny in the air, man.
Viagra
should find a new spokesman in Jae Jones. What you saying?
Hey man, he gotta do better, man.
He can have that organized. Organize a little bit better, huh?
Oh,
hey man.
You ain't lying about that. So, all right, come to this time in our episode where we gotta switch positions out here. You know, I like to think we're kind of like sports reporters, right? We get some knowledge and stuff.
No pause on switching positions.
Drop facts. Oh yeah, I'm still. I'm glad you caught that. You catching on. You catching on, man.
I'm learning.
Influence. You got
We got some recent tweets from our man Kyrie Irving talking about how sending shots. He don't name names in these tweets, but he's sending shots at the puppet masters, not the puppets. All puppets do is run around society trying to gain popularity, state opinions. What a life. My name is worth billions to these media corporations. My brothers and sisters who deal with this know exactly what I mean. So, and there's about 4 tweets from about 9 o'clock in the morning to about 10 o'clock in the morning. he also talks about how a lot of these media corporations make their money by degrading Black, African, Indonesians. Oh my God. I'm terrible here.
Indigenous. I got you.
Community
I got you, man.
heroes.
That's what I'm here for, man.
We thrive off of it and then sell it back to us by having a hand-selected person or group of people spark controversy about them for the world to see. And I'm guessing, I'm throwing a shot out there. This selected person is a man named Stephen A. Smith. Is my take on this situation.
I think.
How do y'all feel about Stephen A?
Man, Stephen A ain't been the same since he got that bag, bruh. Since he got that bag from ESPN, man, he been a totally different person, man. In my opinion, he was good. You know, he was decent when it was him and Skip, when he was on Cold Pizza and everything like that. He was decent, but it's like ever since he got the bag, Skip left. You know what I'm saying? Now Max is gone. He doing too much, and he's just tearing down players because they don't agree with his opinions, and that shit is just truly whack. Like that's some corny shit. Like he has this thing with Kyrie, like he just has this like, I gotta talk about you every time. Like he gets paid to talk about Kyrie and bash other players. Like it's other players, like it's so many former and current players that just don't fuck with him because of his outtakes, because he's just like personally attacking people now. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit's corny to me. You know what I'm saying? Like he got Stephon Marbury currently going at him because of, you know what I'm saying, the tweets you just read about. So like, buddy, he a cornball, man. Cornball for that shit, man.
Talk to us, Willie. What's your take, Willie or Maliik? Which one?
I'm giving it to Maliik. Go for it.
I mean, this is somebody who is a HBCU graduate that I don't really support. I think it's a money thing too. I just feel like I look at it from a more journalistic standpoint. Somebody that graduated from journalism school, and you know, they telling you got to work 3 times harder and all that stuff, and how hard it is. You feel me? Like as a journalist, like money wise, breaking through all that stuff, press credentials, all that. How hard it is to get to his point. You feel what I'm saying? I know a lot of people that are buried at ESPN that was their dream. You feel me? Whether it be writers, producers, whatever the situation may be, but they out in Connecticut and it's not what it was or what they thought it would be. This man, his journalism don't really have an age, you know what I'm saying? But this man he's at the top, you feel me? And he has so much influence, and like, aside from sports, he has an athletic background, aside from that, but as a Black man, you feel what I'm saying? I feel like he's lost so many players in the league, and that's why he has this discourse. Is he's taking the route that he's taking, and I say that not only just the money is, it's like, this is sports. You gotta let your nuts hang out. You feel me? I feel what I feel about a play. I feel what I feel about whatever. He doesn't really have an opinion. It's gotten to the point where it feels like it's like, okay, coming to work with his coffee or whatever, and it's like, what I'm talking about today. And he has a reputation now to where it's like, he just gonna say what he gonna say. And if it's ignorant or he's wrong, he just gonna double down. You feel what I'm saying? So I don't like talking about, oh, he went to Winston-Salem. I don't like talking about he went to HBCU, because that's not what you learn. You feel what I'm saying? You can't do what he does and make it. You can't. Not at Morgan, at Bowie, you can't do that. He's done that. He's got to where he's at, and now he's acting like a fucking fool. And he's lost all of his journalistic integrity and values. He does a lot of stuff that you're not supposed to do. Everything is personal with him. That's not journalism. You feel what I'm saying? There should never be a point where you're personally beefing with Kyrie. You feel what I'm saying? Right. You should never be in that situation.
Definitely takes a lot of things personally. What are you about to say, Jay?
Nah, I just think that, like, I also think, and I definitely could be reaching on this one, but I think he sees like kind of like what Charles Barkley does, like on TNT. You know what I'm saying? He sees kind of like how Charles Barkley be going at some of these players, and how, you know what I'm saying? And it feels like he kind of took a page out of that book, and like we all said, like he's just personally going at people, you know what I'm saying, at players. Like he went at John Wall, you know what I'm saying? He went at, you know what I'm saying, Westbrook. He's went at so many different players, and it's just like, I mean, like Maliik said, you know, it's no longer journalism. Like it's just personal.
I think with Charles Barkley though is that we know he's a loose cannon anyway. Like
right.
When we talk about the perspective of basketball, he's one of the greatest. All of that, right? He can. When we talking about inside the, TNT and all that, he can say whatever the hell he want about people as a basketball player. I think that, like you said, he definitely, I feel like he's taking a page out of Charles Barkley's book. But the difference is that people ignore Charles Barkley. I feel like players have the option to ignore him. Like, he's going to say what he's going to say. If a player got their pants hanging out their ass, he going to say something. He going to talk about it all. He's that type of guy. You feel what I'm saying? Not saying there's nothing wrong. Pull your pants up. But I'm just saying, like, he's that type of guy. The difference is Stephen A. Smith is not from that athletic background or whatever, and not in a world. And then it's like, it was once a time where we really respected him. So I feel like that's the difference. So every journalist, every media person doesn't have to be, I don't have a FCS or FBS football. I could talk with any fucking body. You feel what I'm saying? But there was a time when we really looked forward to Stephen A. His sit down with AI, stuff like that. He broke through with a lot of those guys. So it's not like he's not of the culture. There was once a time when AI was a rapper and all that, when he gave Stephen A. that 60 minutes. You feel what I'm saying? So for him to be where he's at now has thrown all of what we've learned about him as a journalist out of the window. Once we got to that, he's a scrub and all of that shit, that's when once it got to where, okay, damn, this is really working for me, and the shock value and all that, I'm turning it up. My New York bravado and all that, he overdoes that too. Like, he overdoes all of that. Like, it's the show.
I agree.
It's 100% a show now. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like when people say HBCU shit like that, because if Stephen A. Smith comes to, and then a lot of my professors, he come to these schools, they're not gonna be happy he's there. You can't teach these kids. You can't tell them to just say, hey, y'all, fucking Stephon Diggs is not top 10 because I said so, God damn it. And they're gonna be famous. That's not how this works. Yeah. That's not how it works. And he's setting the wrong example. He's way too old. I just don't like him.
Yeah. Does he just really blurt out nonsense? Because I feel there's a method to his madness. And I feel that he also been this way for a long time. We speaking as if he just turned this way, but we talking about 20 years that he's probably been this way. So I do think it's a part of his media personality, so to speak. But I think a lot of it is it's truly him. I don't think you get to the point where he's at without actually having the credentials, without actually doing the work. So I actually think he's probably more entitled to go on TV and act a buffoon than Charles Barkley is, especially when Barkley then played this game, then rubbed elbows with these guys. He understands it a little bit differently to just say some of the shit that Barkley said. Yeah, Barkley outlandish, but I think Stephen A. may be in a better position to do that. But Uncle Ruckus is what many people look at Stephen A. is, like an Uncle Ruckus figure. And I think a lot of what he says has some truth to it. It's just that he's not supposed to be the one who's saying it, so to speak. So
I think it's how he delivers the message. I mean, when you sit here and constantly tell, he's telling, I don't believe that Antonio Brown should get another job offer from anybody in the NFL. Does he say that type of stuff about any other white athletes?
Race? Is there a race barrier there that he plays on? Sure. We all know that that's probably his role.
I mean, even with the vaccination thing, it's plenty of athletes that weren't vaccinated, but he ain't come at half of them the way he came at Kyrie. Aaron Rodgers.
I think it's the delivery. I think it's the delivery.
Yeah,
it could be delivery, but it could be delivery. I hear a lot of people say that in general about a lot of things in life, but you're talking about an individual who has put in his time, his work. 100%. So he don't have to, in a sense, and I don't agree with the outright name calling and bashing of a person character or calling people pathetic. I mean, he does. He says well, like I said, he make it funny. But anyway, I can't fight it right now. But when he says shit like he repeatedly called Ben Simmons, pathetic.
Weakest, most pathetic.
Say that. That's the one I'm looking for. That's the one I'm looking for.
ever in the athlete of athletes.
When you say things like that,
really?
okay, maybe you going for the wow factor. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, the shock value and shit in it, right? Or maybe that's how you really feel. I don't agree with it, but hey, it is what it is.
But that's what he does every time when something he doesn't agree with happens. That's like he just called Kyrie the most delusional player or person on earth. Like, bro, like regardless of what you believe, like
but what he was stating was, and I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but what he was stating was he said out of Kyrie's entire career, he's not played a whole quarter. He's only played 66 or less games, seven out of his years of being in the league. He done played less than 66 games. So when you're looking at it from that standpoint, and like he said, he got paid 20-something, 22, $30 million to play 30-something games. He kind of got, but he kind of got a point to say that he's delusional, to say like, I mean,
but he called him the most delusional person on the planet. It wasn't the fact that he called him delusional. He called him the most delusional person on the planet. Like, I mean, buddy's reaching. Like,
he likes him.
I don't get me wrong. I like Stephen A. At times he has a decent take on situations. Like, he does have decent takes, but most of it gets outshadowed because he's doing so much other stuff. He's bashing so many other people. And
it can't be.
It gets overshadowed.
He's the highest paid individual at ESPN, isn't he? He's on multiple sports shows. He's on multiple platforms. So it can't be outshadowed. Something
they gotta pay him. They paid him and they said, you gonna be the face of ESPN right now because we didn't give you the bag. Mel Hill left. Kerry,
exactly, and we're gonna use you to tear down your own people. I get
that's
that.
Why they got him doing that.
Yeah, I get that as well, but like I said, if what I think we fail to realize that we're going to be a part of this system, we have to play it. So a lot of times, even when we talk about HBCUs and everything of that nature, like a lot of that is not trying to be funny and no shit like that, but a lot of that is that's not really our avenue. And we try to fit in places where we really don't fit. So we got to play that game. So if we are really looking for this equal platform or this platform that we're looking for it in the wrong places. If we're looking for a system like they say that it wasn't designed to be for us to represent us in the first place, we're looking for it in the wrong places. So I think I get it, but I think I overstand rather than understand. So he's there for a reason, and we should look at ourselves more than we look at Stephen A. Smith, and maybe not us individually, but like he's on every goddamn thing. He has some type of following where he's able to say and do these things. Now, whether it's for shock value, it had to be some truth in it, though. It's just like a comedian. Everybody don't agree with a comedian deliverance, but there's some truth in it. My grandmother, she was a very harsh individual the way that she delivered things. A lot of older Black individuals are, because they believe a lot of the shit that they say is ignorance. And even if we don't agree with, you may have to work 3 times harder to be considered, or you have to be extraordinary to be considered ordinary. It's some truth to it. So as a Black man, a part of what he's doing is trying to make us, like our producers sometimes do, is try to make us look more at ourselves, and that's why he's so hard and harsh on us. It's kind of like the father figure, or so to speak. That's like, you're not worried about your feelings. Worried about how you feel about it.
We don't all need no father figure. Like it's other analysts and stuff like that that don't come at other play. Like if you look at, I don't watch Undisputed all the time, but Shannon Sharp, when he delivering messages, he not going as harsh as Stephen A. Smith. Like, yeah, if a player messes up, you got to be held accountable, but hold them accountable for what they do on the field or on the court. But you holding like grudges and tweeting, and you talking about, oh, wait till the next episode. I'm gonna get into Kyrie. Oh, wait. Like, no, like, what are you, bro? Really? Like,
what happens in next episode, though? What happens in next episode? This is when we say that he's not using journalism, he actually is. What happened in the next episode? People tune in. They want to hear what he has to say. He's baiting motherfuckers. He's good at what he do to the point that, just like all greats, some people hate him. That means he's doing something right.
It's not the fact that I hate him. I just don't like his approach. And he didn't have to do that.
That's what a lot of people wrong about me sometimes. They don't agree with my approach of how I get about disciplinary actions or different things, but it works. It may not be
so you rather have your peers and that's why don't nobody in the sports world want to fuck with him no more, because of his approach. And I get it. He's made it to the status where he doesn't have to do interviews and player interviews with other, you know what I'm saying, on-court interviews and stuff like that, because he's at a higher level. But he didn't have to do it. He didn't have to take that approach to be successful, is all I'm saying.
Maybe to stay successful.
Hey, if that's what you feel you got to do, you got to turn and dog your own folks to stay relevant for that bag. If that's what you feel you got to do, then hey, that's his morals and value. I can't agree with that.
I think that's more embedded in us than sometimes it just feels like we have to do. I think it's embedded in us. I think that overseer, that whole mentality that's wrapped up in everything that we're talking about, I think it's embedded in us as Black people. Like, we always have to, but like I said, I think a lot of what he's doing is more on the uplifting side than actually trying to tear down, to be completely 100% honest. I think he's trying to uplift, whether it seems like he's tearing down. They say sometimes you gotta, what they say, you got to start over pretty much. You got to break something down to build it back up. And I think sometimes it works. Now, Kyrie then got on TV, and even though he talked to puppet masters, that he expressed how he said he wasn't comfortable with what his teammates had to go through, what he felt like he wanted to play, but he was dealing with something personal where he believed in. But as a teammate, as an athlete, he admitted, like, it weighed on me. Yeah, I did look at it. The microscope wasn't on him like that.
I mean, yeah, I heard what he said. You know what I'm saying? What was your question?
I was just saying, well, he admitted that. Well, that's something that he probably would have came on TV and been like, or because he had.
I think because of the circumstances, because they got swept and everything like that. So a lot of it was asked about the chemistry of the team. So I think, you know what I'm saying, he spoke what he felt. Huh?
Who made the most of it? Who kind of pushed the buttons for those things to even be a relevant conversation of discussion?
I think he was just talking about the overall season. I don't think it was anybody that pressed the buttons. I just think that he just came out and he was answering questions in the media. I don't think he did it because Stephen A. I think he was just being truthful.
I don't know. Just like we said, we don't know that he tweeted for an hour because Stephen A., but we could assume that he did. So I think Stephen A. is more effective than we give him credit for. I understand what everybody says, and I don't agree with everything that happens, but I think sometimes we gotta step back and say, "Are we been played here?"
Why he don't do that for Aaron Rodgers and all the other players?
Oh, like Luka, he said when that's one thing I looked at. I didn't really go too far back, but I looked at Luka when he was saying that they beat up on Luka. You know, he really made Luka seem like this. But
what was his tone like?
His tone was was real calm. It was more of a victim standpoint.
Exactly.
It was like Luka was victim. And he was trying to protect Luka, but you know, like he called Kwame a flat-out scrub. He calls a lot of people names, but he said Luka can't play defense, and that's what they was exposed.
We all know
that. He didn't say he was shit or he was terrible. He was bad at defense or anything like that.
There's a list of his victims. There's definitely a list of Stephen A.'s victims,
and they all got a lot in common. They all Black.
Ben Simmons is the latest one where he doubled down on his opinion of the most weakest, useless, worst athlete ever. And then 2 days later, Ben Simmons, he's getting back surgery now. And Stephen A was like, he's still useless or whatever.
Nah, he going on Stephon Marbury now, talking about how he was eating Vaseline out the Vaseline like they was cheeseburgers.
Back in 2014, he went on Michael Carter Williams and the Philadelphia 76ers. They were losing games, a lot of games, and they would going back and forth over Twitter, text, or whatever. And Stephen A is on camera like, I will send my goons type stuff like to come find
really
you.
Stephen A. You
like
okay.
that's a little too far. That's a little too far right there. Definitely. Then he went on show Yatani for MLB about this is the face of the MLB and we can't even understand a word that comes out of this guy's mouth. We need an interpreter.
He showed the nigga and he showed his true colors. That's what I'm saying. They there. I think he's really tried to uplift for the most part.
But what is he uplifting?
Like if he's doing nothing else, he started conversation.
About what?
About everything. Like I said,
we know everything that he's saying. We know Luka don't play defense. We know Kyrie says outlandish shit at times. We know these things after following their careers. So he's not telling us anything different as far as that. Like he just think he's been successful doing it, so he's gonna keep doing it. That's what it is.
Hey, I know he talks about the Cowboys 70% of his time on camera. I feel like.
What about when he says things like the call with Draymond was ridiculous, and he went off on that? He don't always. I don't know. His position is. I still see a lot of work that the man does.
Hey, I would say this from listening to you, Willie. I'm more convinced. I like your point of view. You letting me see that light on that side too. I ain't gonna lie. You definitely putting good arguments in there.
I get it. Like, and again, I don't say that he doesn't say good things. Like he has good takes. I'm not saying he doesn't, but again, I'm saying a lot of his takes have a lot in common where it's just he's bashing more black athletes than like keep that same energy when you talking about Aaron Rodgers and shit. Like keep that when you talking about Baker, when you talking about Luka, the tone is totally, the delivery is totally different. And I get it. He says he's doing it for the culture. He's doing it trying to look out for, black athletes and this, that, and the other, because he doesn't want them to get to, mainstream white media or whatever the case like that. But he dogging us more than the other people in the media. All for the bag.
I don't know if it's.
That's just what I'm saying. Like sure he has good points. He has good points, and again, I like them because, like Maliik said, his background and everything like that. But after a while, like, when does it stop?
I don't want to cut
that's what he's getting paid to do. So I don't know if it's going to stop.
It's not.
I want to cut y'all short, but I want to make sure we give a big shout out. Thank you, Maliik, for joining us tonight. Hope you enjoyed it.
Appreciate you coming through, bro.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all having me on. Definitely.
Hey, man, come back, man. Anytime, bro. Let us know.
Definitely getting us hip to the HBCU and the whole process of it all, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Definitely.
Hey, shout your social medias out before you step.
Yeah, so my Twitter is NFL Maliik, NFL MALIIK, and you can follow us at Draft HBCU on Twitter. And you can follow us on Draft HBCU Players on Instagram. And yeah, just check out our draft profile, some of the players that we think you should be watching in 2023, some upcoming games to watch, and download our game that's coming out on May 17th, Draft HBCU 2022, which you can play on any Apple product, Android, MacBook, PC, Nintendo Classic, if you have one, Fire Stick, whatever. May 17th.
That's what's up.
Appreciate y'all having me on again.
Hey, thanks for coming through, dropping the gems.
And NBA's injuries too, injuries. So let's talk NBA playoffs. This is where the money's made these saved.
Playoffs.
First round, second round. We're going Phoenix and Dallas. We got the Suns are up 2-0.
One word.
What's happening here?
Sweep. Nothing else needs to be said. Sweep and get Luka some help.
I thought you said Phoenix in 6 though. I'm just right.
Hey man, I thought from a financial perspective they would want this to go, to stretch this series out, but bruh, the way Phoenix, Chris Paul, and Devin Booker are cooking, nobody from Dallas is stepping up, bruh. It's a wrap, bruh. 4 game. Like
4 games.
Luka, my man, but he can't do it by himself, and he don't play defense.
Hey, that's exactly what his coach said too. But other than defensive part, he just said Luke can't do it by himself. What you think, Willie?
Oh man, I think Luka gonna average like 30. It's gonna look like that's gonna be interesting. But Luka average like 30. It's gonna be like, oh man, I don't know. I think they pull off one. I think they get 1 or 2.
Yeah,
they make it 1 or 2.
I got Dallas winning at least 1.
Yeah,
they better give him a super glizzy.
I don't know much more. Like Luka, he's definitely averaging 30 in this.
He ain't got no choice. He can't have a bad game at all.
Somebody can't step up. Where's Jalen Brunson at, man?
I don't know.
He had a big game when Luka's out. Luka's back. What's going on? Like, is that why nobody wants to go to Dallas? Supposedly they're talking about.
Who do you get to help Luka? I think that's the big question, because Luka's a ball dominant big guard. So you can't get another guard because Luka doesn't play off the ball, right? And then you got to have the ball in his hands. So who do you get? You got to get a big man. That's why the experience with Porzingis didn't work, but you got to get a dominant big man. You can't get another wing player. Yeah. So it's going to be tough to get him help. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to have to do something quick, because buddy,
he's going to be out.
He about to be out. They about to get that broom, bro.
So I guess we all got Phoenix going out here, huh?
Yeah, they about to give him. He better get a super glizzy in Dallas, and you know what I'm saying, and try to make it happen, bro.
Pants on a mission.
Yeah.
Let's stay on the West Coast here. Let's go with the Warriors and the Grizz. We are all notched up at 1 apiece out here, and things is getting dirty. People y'all
switched y'all picks up too. I'm still sticking with Phoenix. Willie, I think you switched from Phoenix to Golden State
for the championship.
Yeah.
To go to the finals. Yeah, I'm gonna be like Gary. That's my 1A and 1B. Phoenix should go to State.
I can't go to State in the West. I'm switching up my East picks. I'm going to be East side.
Yeah, I did. And my East, but that's all messed up. But yeah,
I feel you. Nah, but the Golden State Memphis series, bro, that shit is lit, man. I actually got Memphis losing in 5, man. They fun to watch, but they gonna go home, especially with Dylan Brooks being out game 3. He's been suspended for the first foul. Golden State in 5, bro.
What you think, Willie?
Oh man. Golden State in 6.
Golden State in 6. Yeah, I got Golden State in 5 myself. Now let's talk about this flagrant foul here by Dylan Brooks. It was a foul. Obviously, it was a foul. Mm-hmm. Was it worth being suspended for? I feel like he got the suspension because Gary Payton broke his elbow and is out for a month. I feel like that's the only reason he got the suspension. If he didn't break his elbow, I think there's no suspension. What's y'all's take on that?
I feel the same way you feel. I agree with you on that. I don't think Dylan Brooks was intending to hurt Gary Payton the second, but I do think that he was trying to hard foul. You know what I'm saying? It's the playoffs, no easy buckets, right? I had a problem with Steve Kerr saying that he broke the code. He broke the code, you know what I'm saying? Like they had all this energy for Dylan Brooks, right? Saying he broke the code. But where's this energy when Draymond is doing this wild shit, right? Like Draymond does wild shit, kicking people in the nuts. The last series against Denver, he got into it with Aaron Gordon and was trying to pull his legs damn near from under him, like trying to pull his legs so he can get up, like so to help Draymond get up. So like I feel like Golden State is playing this victim role because their guy unfortunately got hurt. You know what I'm saying? But they don't think about that. Nobody says anything to Draymond when he does this wild shit. He's not breaking code when he's hitting players in the nuts and doing all that other crazy shit. Nah.
He put some
it's
Dennis
just
Rodman
unfortunate.
stuff.
Yeah, man, like dog, like that some of that shit he be doing just be too, it's just unnecessary, man. And I mean, you know, even when he got the flagrant 2, you know what I'm saying, when he was doing all the jumping up and down and trying to hype the crowd up,
himself in the face, shit. That nigga was trying to
doing, dog, like, come on, bro. Like,
was that a flagrant? Was that a flagrant, Draymond's?
A lot of these calls aren't flagrant. I don't think it was necessarily, it was a flagrant, but it wasn't a flagrant 2. I don't think it was enough to get kicked out. I think because of his reputation of who he was, I think it was why he got the flagrant 2 call. And I think, you know, Dylan Brooks was trying to give a hard foul out, and it was unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? And so the referees, they got to call these because they want to show that they got control of the series. And like we said before, they gave Dylan Brooks a suspension because Gary Payton Jr. got injured. You know what I'm saying?
But take a fall, Gary Payton Jr., you know, take a fall.
But I mean, what happens if the guy fall? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So what happens if the dude, what's his name? Clark from Memphis, what happens if he comes down and he messes his hand up? Like, is Steve Kerr and these guys still having that same energy? He broke the code. Like, nah, man, that shit was all the reaction of him being out.
What you think, Willie?
I think a part of it had to do, like it was mentioned, who it was. You know, it was Draymond, so he kind of got like that stigma with him that, you know, he got that stigma with him that they gonna try to get him for any little thing and everything like that. But he showed that he wasn't trying to be malice or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? He was trying to commit a hard foul. But I guess if you're going to go by definition of what the flagrant foul is, unnecessary and excessive contact committed by a player against an opponent. Maybe not unnecessary, excessive, yeah, you know, but it was just, I understand the intent. He didn't want him to score, but he also, he used the second thought to try to save the man from falling on the ground. But so I get it, I guess. I get it. But one that I thought that somebody got away with is Giannis, my bad, the big Greek, the Greek guy, sorry.
Greek freak, yeah.
But that call that they just called, like I think they called an offensive foul, I thought that was a dirty play. Now, I'm not saying it was like dirty, like that elbow it was within the move, but we seen Shaq do it 1,000 times, you know, maybe not 1,000, but hundreds of times. We seen Shaq do that same move with intent to get that motherfucker ball from him. And I think Giannis, I think he showed that it was intentional when he didn't finish the move. After he hit the motherfucker, he kind of got stuck like, damn, I tried to hit that motherfucker. He didn't finish the move. If it was in the action of the move, why you ain't finish the move? So I think he got away with one. Unlike Draymond, I think because he is kind of like the poster child, so to speak, of the NBA, they let that ride. Because Draymond, I think, did less of intent than that foul was.
Yeah.
He's definitely not the poster child.
Nah. He the red, sorry, because y'all are red, but he the redhead stepchild that nobody fuck with the NBA.
It's like Rasheed Wallace when he was in Portland, like he would constantly get teed up every time he had a outburst. You know what I'm saying? It was technical foul, so it's the same. But I mean, Draymond created that mantra for him. They say that's how he played. That's how, you know what I'm saying? So he created that for himself.
Yeah. Now, Ja's averaging 49-9 this series already. It's only 2 games, but I mean, if it's gonna go past 5 games, Ja's gonna have to average 40, 35 plus easily, and he's gonna need some contribution from other players. Now,
I'll say I like to call him Insane Bane. I forget his name, but
Bane. Yep.
He need to start showing up. They said
he got like a back injury or something. He got like a minor injury.
Cause I about to say he went cold in this series so far. He was hot last series. You know what I'm saying?
Jaren Jackson.
Ja had some low numbers sometimes. Ja wasn't scoring not like he had a couple low games. I can't really think of the numbers right now, but he had a couple low games where Bane stepped up and he was the team leader in scoring. So they got some firepower over there that ain't being used right now.
Yeah, my take on it is that was the last game the Grizzlies winning this series. Only shot 18 or 13 or 18%. I said it to y'all for that last game, and he lose by 5. They make 2 of those 3-pointers. Clay's like 2 for 12. Steph's like 3 for 13. Pools is something crazy stupid too. Those guys are regularly shooting 30% from 3-point line. Dylan Brooks, he's gonna play defense. He can't play defense on all 3. Those guys are gonna get their buckets, and y'all they woke a sleeping giant, as they always say. And
they about to cook.
Warriors about to make a run. That's my take. So moving to the East Coast. We're talking about sweeps on the West Coast. Let's hop in this Miami Heat and Willie's 76ers. I said Willie's 76ers because that was his squad. Now, hey, Embiid's out the first 2 games. That's a totally different team. That's MVP of the league out. MVP of the league is out right now. He said he might come back games 3 and 4 possibly.
Nah, he's ruled out of game 3.
He's ruled out of game 3 now. Well, those brooms are looking better. What you think, Willie?
Man, initially I was like, man, he need to go ahead and grab one of them fan of the opera mask and go out there and play him. You know what I'm saying? But I'm thinking nose. You know, it's out of socket. We don't know what's going on back there. That day could be dangling or some shit. We don't know what's going on back there. But yeah, man, I'm gonna ride with that one though. I'm gonna ride with that one.
Okay.
You know,
okay. If you ride with who's stepping up for the Sixers then for you then? That series.
Tyrese Maxey.
What's his name?
Maxey.
Well, he
not so far.
Not the young kid. Shit, man, not the young kid. What's his name? Macy or some shit.
Maxey.
Not Mac. He already playing, but what's his name?
Tobias
Tobis.
Yep.
Yeah. He need to step up. Yeah, I think
he's putting up 24 a game right now for the last 2 games.
Is he?
That's all. He's just points and a few rebounds.
24.
24 to combine averaging for the last 2 games this series.
You know who need to step up? Know who need to step? Your man's in them. Strip club James. Yeah, that's who needs to step up, man.
He's the weak link right now. He's the weak link.
Yeah. He the old head, man. He the old head. He the old head on the team.
That's who needs to step up.
Right? They didn't trade for this old head that is averaging 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists. That's not what he traded for.
Yeah, the strip club catching up to him for real. All that party catching up to him.
Let me ask y'all this, because it's a narrative going around. Do y'all think James Harden is washed?
I think he got a couple more games to prove otherwise.
He got 2 to prove. He got 2. These 2 in Philly, he got to make it count, baby.
Because
he got a couple more to prove otherwise.
Oh yeah, there's always been a storyline that he does not perform in the playoffs or in primetime moments. Also, like when everybody knows the defense is going to be playing your ass harder, that's when he has not been performing pretty much. You know, something else about the 76ers. They got Tobias Harris, James Harden, Tyrese Maxey. They're all scoring 18 to 20 plus a game. Not a single other 76ers has scored in double digits in both of these games. So it's just those 3.
Doc ain't got to worry about blowing no 3-1 lead this year.
Nah. On the flip side of that, you got at least 3, maybe 4 people probably scoring double digits for Miami over there.
It's on fire tonight.
Yeah. Hey, that's my 1B. That's my 1B.
Man. Yeah, man. I had Philly losing in 6, but without Embiid, it's they might as well. What I tell you in the chat, man, they might as well get that Philly cheesesteak, get that whiz, hold the whiz, buddy.
Miami is a whole team. Like that is probably one of the most complete teams I think in the league right now. Offense, defense. Like their defense is legit.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about them, really.
Yeah.
I don't think James Harden washed. I just think that you're not gonna see the Houston James Harden anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like this is probably the James Harden you're gonna see moving forward. Like you may get a flash of the old James Harden, but you're not gonna get that James Harden you had in Houston. You don't
think
he's more like the
considered washed?
You say that again, Willie?
You don't think his performance is considered washed if this is the James Harden that you're going to get?
Nah, James Harden is still a good player, man. He's still a great player. I mean, he's up for a max deal. I don't know if I would give him a max deal, 4 years, 200 mil. I wouldn't do that, but I do think he still can contribute. He's probably, you know, how y'all say, he's probably the 1B, 1A, 1B. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not the same James Harden. Either that or it's his conditioning. You know what I'm saying? So
he ain't the Batman no more. He's the Robin.
Yeah, like Embiid is Batman, and he's probably gonna be. He might not even be Robin because Tyrese Maxey is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I mean, he's not washed. But I think that he's not. You're not gonna see what you saw in Houston. And I think we gotta live with that.
Out there, man. No, them. What he getting? 15 points.
He's averaging 18 for the series, so he definitely had 15 earlier in one game.
But 18 points look tough, man.
Yeah, he's 6 for 17. It ain't nothing easy. But I watched something else that said that he's not even shooting the ball like he used to. In Houston, he shot at least 20 shots a game. In Brooklyn, he shot like 16 shots a game. In Philly, he's only shooting 13.
Why do you think that is?
Part of it, I think he was trying to figure out where he fit in. I don't think he was trying to take too many touches away from Embiid because I think he knew Embiid, the offense runs through him, but Embiid ain't there.
Yeah.
So there should be a lot more shots for him, though. Right?
Let that shit fly. But I think he doesn't want. I think part of it is that like he doesn't want to shoot and miss. You know what I'm saying? As much because then it's gonna be like, oh, James Harden, you know, that narrative again. You know, he stunk up the game and this, that, and the other. So
he like stat chasing in a sense, or
I just don't think he wants the negative narrative. So if I don't take as many shots, then I can't be criticized as much.
He been hanging around Ben Simmons too much, then, huh?
Hey.
I don't want to my Stephen A. Smith or nothing like that, but sometimes I be feeling certain ways about Harden, man. Like everybody like to talk about a lot of other players, but I think Harden shoot like shoot the ball. Like I don't understand.
Sound like Ben Simmons right now. Just shoot.
I just don't understand. Like
I don't understand it either.
I understand he's not the same player, but for him not to even play the same game, he's not even playing the same game. I can see if he was playing this game and the shit wasn't actually going in, or it wasn't going this way, but he's not even playing in the same game. Like I was like, who is he?
And if you ain't putting up the buckets like that, you better have those 15 assists like you be getting sometimes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you gotta finish some other way. Make your team better. That's your job.
Yeah.
All right. Last matchup out here. This is a big matchup, good matchup really in the East. We got the Milwaukee Bucks and the Boston Celtics. They just went back and forth. Both got 1-1 in the series here. Bucks took them out first game. Celtics came back, kind of blew them out the second game actually. Marcus Smart might be out game 3.
Uh-huh.
We'll see. He was
I
out
think he's
He was
playing.
out in game 2. So what's y'all's take on this one? Who y'all got? This is a powerhouse matchup here.
I got Milwaukee 6.
All right.
I just think I like Jalen and Jason. I like what they bring to the table. I like the defense that they play, but I think I don't think Giannis has a shitty game as he had in game 2. I mean, it looked like Milwaukee ain't even want to play in game 2. So they did what they were supposed to do. They stole one in Boston. They're gonna get back to Milwaukee. I think it goes 6. Maybe 7, but I'm gonna go with 6.
Okay. What you think, Willie?
I'm most definitely going Boston. I think a part of what we saw is trying to look for the Boston coach name, but I think they made some coaching adjustments. I think that team looked at that film and they said, okay, we see something. We see what we got to do. We see what we didn't do. We see what they can't do. We see what we can do. I think they saw something. I don't know about Giannis having a shitty game, but one thing for sure, two things for certain, like we talked about, Laura, like Gary pointed out last week, Giannis don't have a move that he can go to. Like he don't really have a move that he can go to. He's immensely
I know.
talented. You can't really run an offense around him. So that's why I said Chris Middleton is such a
He's
key
vital.
factor. Yeah, he's such a
He
key
is.
factor. Because he takes that assignment away from Giannis and give him an opportunity to kind of like freelance and do what he do. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. I'm going Boston most definitely though. I'm going Boston.
Hey,
Beantown. I ain't mad.
I'm the same way. I like Boston out here. I don't like the Bucks for some reason. It's just I'm not a fan of them. I just don't
Yeah.
like them really. I don't know what it is. Giannis, I feel like Giannis gets all this goddamn praise from everybody, like he is the greatest thing that's happened to the NBA. And I don't think it's a lot. It's deserved. Some of it's deserved. Don't get me wrong. He puts up stupid numbers for a guy his size, freakish athlete. But like when I think of NBA players, great NBA players, I think that they're actually amazing with the basketball. And he just seems so damn goofy with the basketball at times to me. And it's just like, how could this be one of the greats in the NBA when all I do is like
top 75, right? How is the top 75?
and his dunks look so weird. It's just like I'm just so lengthy and awkwardly long. I'm just like, or something. I'm like, what the hell?
But let me ask y'all this, and I know we getting ready to wrap it up. Is he the best player in the world, Giannis?
No.
No. No. I think even when I heard Kyrie talking about him being left off the top 75, the first person that came to my mind was Giannis. I was like, but he's on there. Yeah, I don't think he did because he got a ring. I don't think he should be on there. I think that ring really played a part in it. But, I don't want to say it like that, but what they say, I don't want to go with it. I'll go with the same.
Kyrie got a ring too, though.
Yeah, exactly. And Kyrie, I think, has proved even with his 3/4 of playing of his career, I think he's proven more of being a top athlete. I mean, the top athlete and NBA player that Giannis had. But like I said, for some reason, he became somewhat of a poster child. I guess he's marketable. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I think he most definitely kind of get like a little. I don't want to say nepotism like we used earlier, but because it ain't nothing that he really attached to the NBA, but he get favoritism for real. But he's nice. He's nice, but
progression. I think it's
he's not the best in the world. He may not even be top 10.
What's your take, Jay? Is he the best in the world?
No, he's not.
Okay.
I think he's close. I think he's close. I think he's going to continue to develop his game. I think he will develop more of a jump shot. If he can create create a shot off the dribble, I think he's 10 times dangerous. And I think that's something he's going to work on. He shows that he constantly works to evolve his game. And I think that's what he's going to do. Y'all know who my number one player is. KD. So it was just a discussion that me and one of my homeboys had. We had the conversation about who was the best, and the greatest, or whatever title you want to call the best player in the world. So I figured I'd just ask y'all.
I mean, for me,
Yeah, how you feel about it, G? Because I got a question behind that though. But how you feel about it?
Like that note about Giannis, I feel like it's every year they're like, oh, he's been working on his 3-point shot. He's been working on his jump shot coming into the season. I've been hearing that same talk for the last 3 or 4 years. And what he should be working on is free throws. Also, his free throws are atrocious. Like that joint almost. I feel like because the man ain't good for free throws. They'll boo him. He'll airball free throws. Like So not the best in the world for me.
So he ain't even in my top 10, but it is.
I got him in the top 10. I got him the second best. I ain't damn Willie. I got maybe Embiid, maybe Embiid and Giannis, and somewhere Jokic and Steph is around there. So and of course you gotta throw LeBron in there.
He has a ton of potential. Even at this stage of his career, we're still looking at a ton of potential. But my question is, who should he mentor with? Like, who should? I'm thinking, I don't know. He need a move. So the first thing I thought was the Dream, but I said I don't know if he's really a Dream type player. Is he Patrick? Is he like who should he? Who should kind of take this? Well, he already a champion, but who can make him better? Or who you think can mold him into an understanding of the game that he seemed not to have?
Well, I don't think he has much of a low post like in his arsenal, and most of the guys that you named have low post. They were known for their low post moves. You know what I'm saying? The Dream Shake, Pat with the hook. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe I don't want to say Shaq, but he has to develop he has to develop an in paint move without constantly charging the rim and without constantly, you know what I'm saying, like just dunking. It's like if he can't dunk it or lay the ball up and you know what I'm saying, then it's like he's out of his zone. You know what I'm saying? If he's not getting the ball on the break, then or getting the ball charging at the rim, he's kind of like in an uncomfortable zone, and that's what you see in game 2. Like he was uncomfortable, and he was forcing shots. So I'm seeing him shooting shots with one knee up and shit. I'm like, whoa, Giannis, like chill. You shooting dirt type shots, like that ain't in your arsenal yet, bro. Like
Jokic.
Yeah, like slow it down. But to answer your question, I don't know who, because he has to get a low post game. I mean, you can go to any one of them and get the low post move. I mean, you can go to Shaq. You know what I'm saying? Shaq, he had the little
Shaq
hook joint.
Shaq is great foot movement. They got similar styles, very powerful styles. Like I said, he took a page out of Shaq book with that, but Shaq would tell him, go ahead, finish the move.
but now they calling that offensive foul. Yeah. That, you know what I'm saying? So he can't really go to that move, but he can go to him for the footwork. But he does need to, I think, develop a low post game, and he just need to work with Chris Middleton on his free throws and on that jump shot. He'd be all right.
All right, fellas. Well, hey, y'all heard it here first.
They fighting again.
Sports Podcast. Shout out your Twitter names, followers, whatever you want to say. Where we can find y'all.
I just first and foremost, I want to thank everybody that's been listening, that's been watching the views, that's been checking us out, man, that's been interacting with us on the Facebook group, the Man Cave Sports group, man. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate y'all listening, man. Subscribe, like, drop a comment. 613 Faye. Check out the end of Four Corners of Wrestling podcast. They just got back to it as well. But y'all know me. Y'all can find me on all 3-4 networks. Jae Jones. You know what I'm saying? Twitter, Facebook, IG, and even TikTok. Y'all know where to find me. Let's chop it up.
About you, Willie?
Yo, Willie B, man. Facebook. Willie P. Willie prayed the whole government on what's that IG. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Real Cinco de Mayo. I've been over here drinking like a Mexican and shit all night. You know, I had a tequila. My tequila, it went and that 30 minutes ran that we had going on tonight. But that shit went. I was gonna have shout out Cinco de Mayo, but it's gone now. But happy Cinco de Mayo.
Salud. You know, hey, find me at G Money Caveman on Twitter. We can talk that talk all day. I'm gonna shoot out y'all on FanDuel this week. I'm gonna put up a little contest. Whoever want to get in, $5 a head. Let's see what's happening out this thing, man.
Shit.
We out this joint. The Man Cave Sports Podcast.
Episode 12.
Bang, bang.